I think because we have undercounted ourselves and underestimated ourselves, we've quite forgotten that we were never a minority. As 1 billion African people on the face of the earth, we can create industries overnight if we decided that we don't wear no underwear we don't make. We don't eat no food that don't come from one of our farms. We don't sleep on no mattresses we don't make. We don't bury our loved ones in any coffins we don't make. We take the coffin industry away from the mafia. We've forgotten our great potential as a people.
Thank you for tapping in. This is Brian HRap B. Williams. This is the End of the Bench Media, and this is a program called A Few Minutes with HRap. Thank you for tapping in. It's important that you do so. If you're just tapping in, if you're watching this live, if you're not watching this live, go to www.theendofthebench.com, www.theendofthebench.com. If you're not watching this live, you can watch this and the Black History video that will be coming up shortly. It is from One Mic History from a Man Country Boy. It is to enhance you. Remember, the purpose of this podcast is to enlighten and make life for our great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren better. Thank you for tapping in once again. I want to say this. This is going to be an interesting program. It's always interesting when I do this. Well, I try to make it interesting every single time I fire up. But today, it's about culture. It's get yours. That's the mentality we have for whatever reason. Get yours. Is that a positive way to think about it? Is that what we should be thinking? Do you need money to pay your bills? Money connects. But I'd rather be broke and have a whole lot of respect. And that's the principle of everything that I talk about. We have a structure in place that we are ignoring. We have a vast history of greatness that we are ignoring. And if we continue to ignore, it will continue to depreciate the quality of life that we have. Get yours is what they call a ideology of rugged individualism. Individualism does not work in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Do you realize in the United States of America, the African-American people, or the African people, I prefer to us as African people, the African people here in the United States of America are the only people on earth that are born into capitalism. People come here and participate in capitalism. People send things here to engage in capitalism. But we're born into it, and being born into it is a handicap for us, because when you come from India, you have Hinduism. When you come from Israel, you have Judaism. When you come from any of the Muslim countries throughout the world, you have Islam to base your principles on. That's the foundation of your life. If you are a Hindu, Jew, Gentile, Christian, Protestant, or whatever, that is your foundation. But when you're born into the criminal enterprise called the United States of America, what you're born into is debauchery. It is teaching you that you are the most important entity in the world. And even if you're a Christian, you can respect the Islamic principle that states if you harm one person, you are truly harming the entire universe. You cause harm to me, and you have disrupted the entire ecosystem of the world. And guess what? Christianity says the same thing. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. See, because you won't do harm to yourself purposely, so don't do harm to your neighbor or your friend or somebody you know. That's the mentality, because capitalism is get all you can while you can and don't look back. But that's not the way the universe is set up. Even when animal kingdom, you have animal feces, you have animal carcasses, you have certain animals that eat things that kill shrubbery, that eat bugs, things like frogs, snakes, and other things. They eat insects. When those insects are eaten, if they're not eaten properly, if they get overpopulated, frogs, snakes, and things like that, they eat them. And then they germinate, and then they pollinate other things. And those things turn into things like dandelions. Guess what? Guess one of the greatest sources to defend yourselves from cancer? Dandelions, those little yellow dandelions in your yard that you cut down every day. If you got them out your yard, clean them off, turn them into a tea. It will invite enzymes into your body to fight off cancer. Yes, not every single cancer, and I'm not going to tell you it's to cure the cancer. Don't be foolish. But this is what I'm saying. Everything works in this natural order. And if you deal with capitalism is the reason you have people digging up coal out the ground. Why water dirty? Because all the coal that filters the water is out of the ground. And if it's out of the ground, it's not filtering the water. If it's not filtering the water continues to stay dirty. Continues to stay dirty, it becomes poisonous. It becomes poisonous. You develop cancer. You develop cancer and you die. It's simple. It's checkers. It's not chess. And that's why you don't do harm to one person. Because if you, like me, I turned out okay. But guess what? My father struck in the head by a police officer in 1968, in September 1968. Due to that blow, he died of an aneurysm, a brain aneurysm in 1970, 4 months before I was born. What if, due to lack of male guidance in my life, I would have been a wayward child? Good thing I had uncles, good thing I had mentors and things of that nature, but it throws off the ecosystem. Trayvon Martin could have been somebody who cured cancer. Tamir Rice could have been somebody who prevented COVID. And Sandra Bland could have been the speaker to speak out and speak at a Black Lives Rally Matter and quash racism and things of that nature. That's what we do when we throw off the ecosystem. That's why get yours is not the way to go. The reason I'm saying these things today is because a lot of people want to be rich and famous. Rich and famous is the order of the day, because we allow these little machines in our hand, this machine right here, this machine right there. This is called a computer. We use it as a cell phone. We use it as a camera. We use it as a cell phone. It's a computer. It's a more powerful computer than the computer that put a rocket ship on the moon, allegedly. But they put a rocket ship on the moon, allegedly. But that's how powerful that is. It can either be a tool for information or a toy. You decide which one you're going to use it for. But due to that, you can talk to people in China. Shout out to the people in Manchester United in England. They watch. Shout out. They always reach out to me, give me props. Thank you for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share while you're watching. But a lot of people in this world want to be rich and famous. Is there anything wrong being rich and famous? No. But you know what? Being rich and famous calls for a culture. It calls for development of a culture. How do you develop a culture? Because there are certain standards that you have to go by. Entertainment is not the easiest, but it's the most accessible way to get famous. These phones and these apps allow us to reach out to people. So people want to be famous. And when you're famous, you get attention. And attention is currency at this point. And a lot of people are sacrificing all the principles of life for their money and fame. Is that a feasible way to exist? Because when you lower the standards in order to chase the fame and glory, what you've done is you made things like violence and disrespect acceptable. That's why we call women in songs B's and H's. That's why we do that. That's why you refer to your brother as an N-word. Because Eazy-E said it back in the day. Richard Pryor said it back in the day, and they got paid and became rich and famous. So I'm going to do that. Eazy-E wore black clothes. I'm going to wear black clothes. You're lowering the standards. Was it okay for Eazy-E to say those things? Of course it was, because it was adult music. Just like it's okay to be a pornographic star, because those people are 18 or older, maybe not mentally an adult, but they are legally adults, and their entertainment is guided toward adults, just like on those CDs or those tapes or those albums. They used to say parental discretion is advised. That means keep this away from people who are not mentally and emotionally developed enough to handle this information. But we stopped doing that. Now, you went from, in 1989, one of the most popular shows on television at the time, from a new budding network, was called Married with Children. And Al Bundy was a relatively misogynistic dude. He was sarcastic, and it was satirical, and it was funny, but it was fun. But you had this woman in the state of Michigan who started a writing campaign. And she wrote letter after letter after letter, attempting to get Married with Children off television because she deemed it vulgar. She deemed it disrespectful. She deemed it something that was not supposed to be on television because her standards were here. And did she have a right to do that? Indeed, she did. If you're offended, you have to speak up. And that's a note to my people. Everybody in the Black community, especially, because as I tell you every day, I'm speaking to the Black community, but I am speaking to all of humanity, because there's no such thing as race. We're a series of tribes. You can call yourself a race, But it's not about race. It's about tribal situations and tribal identities, and history will bring you closer and closer to your tribe. That's like your mother and father, then your mother and father, that's y'all tribe, and then your grandparents, that's their tribe, and then their parents, your great grandparents, that's their tribe, and then the entire thing is a clan, not that type of like Wu-Tang Clan. But that's what I want you to understand. We are putting ourselves in situations to whereas we are doing everything we can to continue to lower these standards to chase this dollar. Is the dollar the most important thing in the world? No, because I wouldn't trade money for respect. See, because respect is waning. I mean, money is waning. You can hit the lottery, get a whole bunch of money. You'd be a dummy with low self-esteem and no character with a whole lot of money, and we see it every day. But respect is something that will be there today. It will be there tomorrow. It will be there next week. It holds your reputation as part of your culture. It guides you through the world because respect is tied to character. Character is tied to behavior. Behavior is who and what you are. I want us to understand. So when we allow people to do this for the bag, that's the cool saying today. I'm chasing the bag. But at what cost? What cost are you chasing said bag? Are you willing to denigrate our sisters, our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunts, our nieces for the money? Oh, I do that for $1 million. Really? You would do that for $1 million? You would really disrespect your culture, your family, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, and everybody for money? No, I'm not. And once you realize it's not an even trade-off, your respect for power, because power can be stripped away. You can't strip away my integrity. You can't strip away respect, because you know what? I have respect for my parents. I respect for my grandparents. I respect for myself. Therefore, I won't do any of those things. I'm not going to stand outside and sell poison. But I have no judgment for the people that do that. How can I live like that? I live like that because of this. If you bag somebody into a corner and make them feel as if that they have no other choice, I can't judge you. First, I can't judge you, period. But I can't judge you for attempting to survive and doing what you perceive you have to do to survive. But what I can say is I can't walk up to you and say, hey, brother, it's another way. Hey, sister, it's another way. See, because we seem to believe struggle is a shameful thing. No, we all struggle. We all struggle, but what we don't do is succumb to the struggle and go wayward. That's what I would like us to start doing. That's what I would like us to start thinking about. Don't subject yourself to the tyranny and the ignorance and the debauchery about this thing called things, objects, ovulence. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that. I would like for you not to do that. But I didn't say you go to hell if you do it, because I have not tried on your shoes. These size 12s, 11 and a half, depending on the style of shoe, they are fit for me and yours are fit for you. I don't have a heaven and hell to cast you into. So while you're judging me or you're judging somebody, this is what I want you to do. Instead of wagging your finger saying, hey, you shouldn't, you know better. How about this? Hey, hey, man, I would really like for you not to do this. Is there anything? I work here. Is there any way I can help you get here? See, while we say they don't want to and they know better, you don't know what has happened in my lifetime to put me here. If you had a video of some of the things that I've participated in my life, you might say, ain't no way in the hell I'm listening to homeboy with all the stupid stuff he did in his life. I'm talking about from illegal things to just plain stupid. Knowing better, stupid is my definition of stupid is knowing better, having the knowledge not to, and still doing it. And I've done it. I am not better than anybody, but I want us to stop succumbing to the ills of life, and because we want to be rich and famous, because it's some things that go into rich and famous for a lot of people. A lot of people start off at 20, don't get payments till they 60. And it's a lot of things that come along with that, and that is talent versus timing. See, talent versus timing used to be, I'm going to do like Denzel Washington. I'm going to go on Broadway and I'm going to go around the United States of America and perform in these theaters, and then I'll build up some momentum, and hopefully I'll do some auditions, and then in the when preparation meets talent, bam, preparation meets opportunity with that talent, bam, I make it. I'm on St. Elsewhere, and then I go do a couple other movies, and then next thing you know, I'm the hottest guy in Hollywood. I worked and worked and worked, and then bam, I made it. Right, Samuel Jackson. I had a tumultuous past. I was a rebel at Howard University, Morehouse University. Next thing you know, I fell into some substance abuse. I got myself out of it, and then bam, once I'm climbing out of it, my talent and timing allowed me to meet Spike Lee. The rest is history. We don't have to do that now. We live in a world where we're connected again to people all over the world. Hey, I've had guests on this show from South America. I had guests on this show from Africa. I had guests in the show who are celebrities. Freeze Love, Scoop Jackson, worldwide reporter. Freeze Love, worldwide comedian, entertainer. Smith & Wesson, the Beat Miners, all kind of rappers, actors, heavyweight champion James Toney, lottery picks in the NBA, high picks in the NFL. I've had them all on here, all of them. But guess what? We were connected through this thing called the internet, and I didn't disrespect, denigrate, or try to embarrass them. So therefore, they are welcoming to me. Some of them still send me texts today. And this is what I want you to understand. Timing and talent are two different things now. You have the talent in the world, and then you're trying to hit that talent. They call it an algorithm. But understand, there's somebody behind that algorithm, and they're saying, pick that as a distraction. You ever notice this? Anytime laws, like when they changed the Social Security benefits, when they changed the SNAP benefits, when they changed the Section 8, when they changed the tax code, that's right around the time Puff's verdict was announced. So you're paying attention that they're trying to fight. They need you to download this app right here, the 5 Calls app. They need you to reach out to your state rep. They need you to reach out for your state senator and U.S. senator. They need you to reach out to all your elected officials through 5 Calls. It's free. 5 Calls. I need you to do it so you can understand what's going on in D.C. so they can reverse all those things. You have the power to do it, of the people, for the people, by the people. You have the right to do it. If you complain enough, I'll put it back on the screen. 5 Calls. I need you to do it. I need you to do it. I'm going to say it again. I need you to download the 5 Calls app right now and make a phone call. I am Brian Williams. I am in Chicago's West Side. I live here. This is what my complaint is. I need you to fix it. And then if you and 110 other people and 20 other people and 50 other people, we can save elders' lives, because 15 million people will be taken off Medicare and Medicaid. 15 million people will be taken off that. Millions and millions of dollars will be taken from the SNAP benefits. That means people are going to die. People are going to starve. People are going to be homeless. If you can't afford your medication, you have high blood pressure, you may stroke out. If you can't afford your diabetes medication, you may go into a diabetic coma and die. If you might be an amputee, and who's going to pay for that? See, these are the things you need to be paying attention to. So this is, they have you paying attention to the Angel Reese situation. Look, Jason Whitlock, RG3, Ryan Clark. I love Ryan Clark, very respected brother, but I don't care about that. We're going to cheer for, what we do is we cheer for Angel, not pay attention to the ancillary noise. And then we use 5 Calls, and we call these state reps and these senators, these state reps and these senators and these people in DC, and tell them, fix this right now. That's right now. That's what I want you to understand. We're going to fix it right now. You have the power, but they don't want you to know you have the power, because then they're going to focus on Shaq talking about punching them in the face. I'm not saying that these people are bots. I'm not saying that they're put out there, but you ever notice what did Shaq say last week? He talk every week. He got a podcast just like I do. Why didn't you know what he was talking about last week? Why didn't you know what Shaq was talking about last week? Because they're fighting for your rights now. And if you're being distracted, you're not going to pay attention to get what you want. Hey, how about those people who refuse that money because the Republican Party told me that the Democratic Party was evil, and now your house is under 26 feet of water? There are over 30 young people. I ain't even going to talk about the older people, the elders and the adults. I'm talking about 28 children dead because you refuse to take money. And look at you now. See, your whiteness, an imaginary identity code, and your adjacentness to the Republican Party costs lives. And nobody's saying, I'm sorry. Nobody's saying, oh my God. Ain't nobody saying none of that. But we paying attention to Angel Reese. We paying attention to RG3. We're paying attention to Shaq. We're paying attention to Puff Daddy. We're paying attention to what's the boy, basketball player, light-skinned buddy. His dad used to play in League. Klay Thompson is dating Megan Thee Stallion. Which one of y'all gonna date Klay or Megan? Why you care? Did you know Megan was dating Klay? Nah, it ain't my business. This lane right here ain't no traffic in it. When I veer over, it's 2 cars in 1 lane. Now it's traffic. That's how it works. But they got us sidetracked. They got us talking about every ancillary thing that I'm gonna talk about Gaza. I'm gonna talk about religion. I'm gonna talk about the LGBTQ. I'm gonna talk about the illegals. How the hell you on stolen land and gonna tell somebody it's illegal for me to be here? How you gonna complain about other people getting benefits and you haven't asked for said benefits? Have you called your state rep? Have you done anything in your power to change things? No, you have not. But you complain. You a world-class complainer. So what is it really about? Is it about preserving life as we know it, the truth, justice, and American way, or is it about hate, jealousy, and tyranny? Because this party is this and this party is that. See, Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton was trafficking kids. My man, we got proof now. But we're not talking about that. You notice we ain't talking about Epstein Island. We're not talking about the death of Jeffrey Epstein. We're not talking about that list. But all 365 days ago, that was one of the biggest topics on the news. Hey, well, let's keep it going because we would rather be right than do right. That's what I'm saying. Timing and talent. See, that's why when you have people like 2 weeks ago, the story was Jim Jones, I'm better than Nas. At what? At what, Jim? But see, he even said, I knew that would get people paying attention to me, but why would you do that, Jim? You're creating chaos. You're creating dissension. You're not having an honest conversation. That's what we need to get back to. I'm going to show you why. A video, and then you already know. I want you to, if you are not watching this live, I want you to go to www.theendofthebench.com, www.theendofthebench.com, and you can watch Country Boy. You can go on YouTube too. You'll see it in a second. You can watch it live. Give me credit. Go to my website. Show me some love. Show me some love, like Bernie Mac. But go there and watch the video in its entirety and watch this. And I'll be back shortly because I want you to understand what we're up against. Once you understand what we're up against, then maybe, just maybe, you won't deal with the foolishness that you deal with. Check this out. I'll be back in a minute.
You've seen her character countless times, smiling warmly, devoted to serving others, never worrying about herself. But have you ever wondered where this comforting, loyal mammy stereotype comes from? This familiar image was never real. It was carefully crafted propaganda, a dangerous myth designed to portray Black women as joyful, obedient servants, content with their life dedicated exclusively to serving others. Known as Mammy, this stereotype emerged during slavery to hide the harsh reality of exploitation and oppression. This persistence of this stereotype doesn't just affect history, textbooks, and old films. It deeply impacts the way we see Black women, even today, constraining perceptions of their intelligence, strength, and complex humanity. So join us today while we discuss the origins of Mammy. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. If you like audio-only episodes, you can find One Mic History wherever you get your podcasts. But without further ado, let's get started.
Now, as you see, the origins of Mammy is just something that people constructed to make you believe that Black women are subservient and they're just these big fat loving characters that they don't have any personality. They just want to do what the boss say. Go to, again, if you want to watch that video in its entirety, I want you to go to Country Boy on YouTube, subscribe, but I need you to do me a favor too. Because when you go to my website, that's www.theendofthebench.com, you can watch that video in its entirety. You get Country Boy to love, you get me to love, and then everybody happy. Back to the point though. You see how they craft things and get you to believe into foolishness, madness, and debauchery. Let's just be honest. That's what they get you to believe in because we allow it. We got Jim Jones. I'm going to get paid because you're going to pay attention to me. But what I want you to understand is this. Entertainment. Entertainment is the #1 export in the United States of America today. Should you protect the culture? See, I'm doing this for the culture. Are you protecting the culture? What is the culture? Oh, if it wasn't for us, see, we got our people in our community. We invented all this stuff. If it wasn't for us, we made the music, we made the TV shows. Who your favorite athlete? All that stuff. Beautiful. But if we created the culture, shouldn't you be doing everything you can to protect the culture? What does the culture mean to you? If you are a person who's just trying to get paid, there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I have no heaven or hell to put you in. I'm not going to judge you. I ain't going to listen. I ain't going to watch. But I ain't going to judge you. It's just not my cup of tea. But what I want you to understand is you should protect the culture. We should do away with the people who are exploiting the algorithm or playing into the algorithm game or playing into the game of denigration so they can get popularization, so they can get monetized rather. We all want to get monetized. We all want to make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But if you know that this is going to leak, like, okay, I'm 55, 54, 55 in a few days. I'm 55 years old. I can handle it. I can mentally cipher through this. I'm gonna run it through my mental cheese grater. I'm gonna chew up the meat, spit out the bones, and do what the scraps as I need, as I see fit. Somebody 40, they can do that. Somebody 30 may be able to do that if they were reared property, and so forth and so on. We're gonna get to a point where a lot of people are unable to disseminate propagandized foolishness and true news. I had a conversation recently with somebody who literally, after every sentence, they told me what was going on and then said, I don't know though. Why the hell are you speaking matter-of-factly and then ending the sentence with I don't know? You want me to tell you why they did that? Because they didn't want the responsibility of their words. See, me, challenge me on anything I say. If I'm wrong, my bad. This is what I saw. This is where I got it from. And this is how it is. Well, here it is. Then I'm come back on just like I did last week when I made a mistake. I identified the mistake. Being wrong is part of life. Guess what? I'm a better podcaster because I was wrong, because that made me do deeper dives into the information that I get to disseminate to you than I was normally doing. See, it worked out. It was a bad. I turned a negative into a positive. Y'all probably didn't even know the mistake that I made. Some of y'all didn't even watch that episode. So therefore, I redeemed myself, though. To me, even if you accepted it and you say, hey man, rap, you usually right most of the time. It ain't nothing. But the purpose of this is to uplift our lives and make lives for our great-grandchildren's better. Therefore, if I'm telling falsehoods, I need to correct that. See, in our cultural history, there's this thing called a domer and a jolly. A jolly is a dude who loosely tells the truth. He softens it up like my man Jungle Brother. He throw a little mustard on it. He says throw a little sauce on it. A domer is a person who is his dedication to the truth is to the point where if he lies, he resigns from his position. One of the stories as a domer is this. The domer was a woman being run down by enslavers. He hid her. They said, have you seen this woman? He said no. To protect her life, if he just said, yeah, they'd have killed her. When he said no, he then went to the other domers, the head a hierarchy of domers, and resigned because he told a lie. I want to get as close to domer as possible. But back to the point. We should protect the culture. And if your whole interest in the culture is to exploit the culture and get paid from the culture, but not pour back into the culture, you shouldn't be allowed in the culture. I keep telling y'all, there's over 55 million of us in this country. Do you understand what 55 million people can do to change anything? You saw the top of the show. We could change industry if we didn't buy underwear that we don't make. Do you listen to that? If we only bought, that's why I want you to go to this on your app store on your phone. I want you to go to BLAP. That is an app. It's an app with a fist. That's like Black Amazon. Nothing but black companies on there. Another one is official Black Wall Street, but I promoted that before. BLAP is where I want you to go. We could shop exclusively with BLAP. It has everything that you would need, all black vendors. And guess what? We can change. We could change culture. Do you want to? Okay, watch this. 1/2 of 1% of 60 million is 600,000 people. 600,000 people tapping into all my programs every time I fire up. Puts about $250,000 a year in my pocket. Guess what happens after that? Now we got 600,000 people tapping into rap. Man, I like what rap is doing. And then I have you on it. You want to sell coffee mugs. And those 600,000, if 1/2 or 100%, 1/2 or 1% of those 6,000 people buy that $8 mug, and let's just say 10. And then you got, bam, $600,000. You probably spent $250,000 on it, which means you got a whole bunch of money left for your profit. You see what I'm saying? And then somebody else come on selling t-shirts, somebody selling hats, somebody selling music. Somebody say, hey, watch my movie. They come on rap. I want you to help me promote my movie. Then the people promote the movie. Then the 600,000 people or even 1.2 million people watching your movie. And then, damn, we have a network of people that it becomes cyclical. I'm going to tap into rap. Rap going to promote. He's going to bring more people. I'm going to get more pay. I'm going to get paid. I'm going to come back to rap. And then we just continue to expand and expand and expand. But guess what? That's our 60,000 people. That's our 600,000 people. What happened when the word get out and white folks start tapping in and they went, oh, I didn't know they were selling it. And then now our 60,000 people and 10 of their thousands. And then now our community is eating off two incomes. Our income, which is natural, and their income, which is because we invented everything. And if it wasn't for us, make it work for you. See, that's why you must protect the culture. And you see somebody trying to exploit the culture for their own personal gain. You're not adding to the culture. You're not putting, I don't want to hear about no damn book bags and no damn hams and turkeys. I'm talking about where your youth center at, sir. Where's the organization? So you go into the school and show positive role models, sir. Where are the music programs that you're paying for so you can expand their minds in regards to musicianship? So you can go and teach them history of music, teach them how to write music, teach how to perform music, how to produce music, how to engineer music. And now, guess what? They're on tour. Where's that at? Where's your bar in the local suburb of the hometown that you live in that's run down? And you put that bar in there, and then you redevelop that entire rezone and redevelop that entire area. And now you reinvent what we're not gonna call it chitlin circuit because chitlins are disgusting. We're gonna call it the vegan circuit, or the healthy circuit, the spirit circuit, the soul circuit. And guess what happens then? You create 100,000 and now. Again, it becomes cyclical. You go from Rochester, you go from right outside New York, from Yonkers, and you go down to Philly. Then you go to Jersey, then you go down to Philly, then you go to Connecticut, then you go to Delaware, and then you go just straight right down South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, into Florida, into Georgia, over to the SIP, over to Bama, over to the Boot, up to Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, so forth and so on, wherever we are. And we get paid and we live the live-long day. You know, kind of like that's why James Brown rich. You thought it was because he made these funky songs. No, James Brown stayed on the road and got paid. You want us to understand that's how we can get paid as well. But we have to be dedicated and protect the culture that you always repping. But if you let people exploit the culture and say things that are inflammatory to trigger you because you want to laugh and keep getting exploited. Meanwhile, the people at the top the rich getting richer, the fat getting fatter, and the poor continue to struggle more and more. You can do that. Or we can start working together. I ain't say like, I ain't say hang out with, I ain't say befriend. We can continue to work together or start more engagement and creating more entities, like creating a drugstore. Or, hey, Mr. NBA who got paid $20 million this year over a 4-year period, and a lot of y'all only gonna be there for 4 years. So won't y'all come together into each one of y'all hometowns and come together and create an entity called NBA pharmacies, NBA grocery stores, NFL Walmarts, and things of that nature. And then you have money into perpetuity, cyclical, directed to our community, and other people come in, much like the Negro Leagues at one point. Do you understand the reason Jackie Robinson was invited to play in Major League Baseball? It's because white people had started going over to Rube Foster. He's the creator of the Negro League. Reuben Foster, but his real name is Reuben, but his nickname is Rube Foster, former catcher and owner of the Negro Leagues. They started coming over to Rube Foster's in Major League Negro League Baseball because it was more entertaining. Well, we got to slow that down. Come on in, we'll let you in. When your enemy openly lets you in for no reason at all, it hasn't been a war, it hasn't been a conversation, that means you're taking away from his bottom line. So he's either going to try to destroy you or physically, or he's going to try to eliminate what his greatest competition is. But unity can't be defeated. Working together can't be defeated. And a singular mindset can't be thrown off, because if the goal is to uplift, enlighten, and make life better for our great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren, and we tell our grandchildren to do it for their great-grandchildren and their great-grandchildren, it becomes a mission into perpetuity that can't be stopped. So I need you to start doing that. I need you to start engaging and stop waiting to like somebody and leave your damn feelings at home. Man, he hurt my feelings. Well, you know what? Leave your feelings at home and bring your hard hat and your overalls and be ready to work. You don't have to like me to work with me. And guess what? I'm my favorite person in the world. So if you don't like me, I keep walking past that mirror. That's who's that dude? My favorite guy. So that's what I want you to understand, dog. That's what I want you to understand. Ladies, gentlemen, haters, and bitter friends. We can work together and get paid and become a success story and move away from the tyranny, or keep going look for that job that you don't like no way, and keep having that supervisor who's a jerk, and keep doing your thing. With that being said, as y'all know, I want you to watch the end. I changed the ending today, and it's the same Amos Wilson. It's a little better. It's a little longer. It's only 62 seconds, but I need you to tap into that. See y'all Monday. 2 fingers, 1 word. It's your man HRap. Tap in to my little podcast by my main man Maurice Nesbitt Sunday at 10 a.m. at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My little podcast, Big Mo, 2 fingers, 1 word. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell a friend to check in. And I
often put it this way. In order for us to be in the state that we're in today as people, we have to be out of our minds. We literally have to be crazy. It is necessary for us to be crazy. It is necessary for us to be backwards. It is necessary for us to be maladjusted. It is necessary for us to be disunited. It is necessary for us to be self-hating. It is necessary for us to be filled with an inferiority complex. In a world where the European is essentially about 10% of the world's population, if that 10% is to continue to rule over the other 90%, it must keep that 90% out of its mind. It must keep that 90% in a state of deception. It must keep